The salvage pod drifted through the debris field like a coffin among corpses. Maverick's scanner picked up the faint life signature just as he was about to turn his hauler back toward Station Karis. Something made him pause. Maybe the desperation in that flickering heartbeat, or maybe just the stubborn human instinct that refused to leave anyone behind. "Dad, we're already 3 hours past our window." Vivian's voice crackled through the comm from the station. His daughter handled their logistics while he worked the salvage routes. "The fuel costs alone, I know, Viv. But there's someone alive out here." She sighed, but he heard her tapping at her console. "Fine, but you're buying dinner for a week." Maverick maneuvered his ship alongside the pod and activated the magnetic clamps. As the airlock cycled, he grabbed his emergency medkit. The pod's door hissed open, releasing a cloud of acrid smoke. Inside, wrapped in thermal blankets soaked with blood, lay a child. Not a human child. The boy's skin shimmered with bioluminescent scales, and his eyes, when they fluttered open, held triple pupils that marked him as Zarkathi, one of the Empire's ruling species. The child couldn't have been more than 6 standard years old, and someone had left him here to die. "Hey there, buddy," Maverick said softly, kneeling beside the pod. "I've got you now." The boy's lips moved, but no sound came out. Maverick spotted the translator chip torn from behind the child's ear, the wound still fresh. Deliberate. Someone wanted him silenced. Back on Station Karis, Vivian met them at the dock with Dr. Helson, the station's only physician. Her eyes widened when she saw what Maverick carried. "Dad, that's a kid who needed help," Maverick interrupted. "That's all that matters." Dr. Helson worked through the night. Maverick sat outside the med bay, and Vivian brought him coffee that had long gone cold. "You know there'll be questions," she said quietly. "The Zarkathi don't lose their children by accident." "I know, and you're going to keep him anyway." Maverick looked at his daughter. At 23, she'd inherited his stubborn streak and her mother's sharp mind. "Would you want me to do anything different?" Vivian smiled. "Not a chance." The boy woke 3 days later. Without the translator, communication was impossible, but fear was universal. He shrank from Dr. Helson's scaled hands, from every Zarkathi who passed by the medbay window. But when Maverick entered with a tray of food, the boy's trembling stopped. Humans were rare this far from Earth. Most species found them unnerving, too emotional, too unpredictable, too willing to die for causes that didn't benefit them. But this child looked at Maverick and saw safety. Over the weeks, they learned the boy's name, Kale. Through gestures and drawings, he told his story. Youngest son of Emperor Tharzek. Born too weak, too small, too human-like in his compassion. A disappointment. His older brothers had taken him during a royal hunt and left him in that pod to die in space. An accident that would trouble no one. The Empire doesn't value mercy. Vivian translated from the fragments they'd pieced together. They see it as weakness. Maverick watched Kale playing with a puzzle he'd bought from the station market. The boy smiled, a rare, precious thing that made his scales shimmer like starlight. "Then they don't understand strength at all," Maverick said. 3 months passed. Kale learned basic English, and Maverick learned basic Zarkathi. The boy helped in their salvage business, his small hands perfect for delicate repairs. He laughed at Vivian's terrible jokes and slept in the spare room Maverick had converted into a bedroom, walls covered with drawings of ships and stars. Then the Imperial fleet arrived. 6 warships took position around Station Karis. The message was clear: return the Emperor's son, or the station would be destroyed. 3,000 lives hung in the balance, in their small quarters. Kale stood before Maverick with tears streaming down his face. "I go," he said in halting English. "I save Station. Save you." Maverick knelt to the boy's level. "You're not going anywhere you don't want to go. But they kill. They'll have to go through me first." Vivian stood at the door, arms crossed. "Through us." By the time Maverick reached the station's command center, he found he wasn't alone. Dr. Helson stood there, along with merchants, miners, and families who'd watched Kale grow over these months. The human who'd been too stubborn to leave a dying child had reminded them all of something they'd forgotten: that some things mattered more than survival. Maverick opened a channel to the Imperial flagship. "This is Maverick Chun of Station Karis. You want the boy? You're going to have to explain to the Galactic Council why you're murdering 3,000 civilians, including a human settlement. And trust me, humanity tends to take that personally." The silence stretched. Everyone knew humanity's reputation. Small in number, but vicious when protecting their own. They'd fought a war against the Keldari horde and won by sheer spite and stubborn refusal to quit. The Imperial commander's voice came through, cold and precise. You would risk your station for an Empire's unwanted son? Maverick looked at Kale, who gripped Vivian's hand tightly. He's not unwanted. He's my son now. You're human. He's not your species. Love doesn't check genetic compatibility, Maverick replied. That's something you'll never understand. The fleet held position for 6 hours. Then, without explanation, they withdrew. Perhaps they feared humanity's response. Perhaps the Emperor decided one son wasn't worth an interstellar incident. Perhaps they simply couldn't comprehend someone who would risk everything for a child that wasn't even their own species. That night, Kale climbed into Maverick's lap as they watched the stars from their viewport. Why you save me? He asked in careful English. Maverick hugged him close. Because every kid deserves someone who won't give up on them. And you, Kale, deserve the whole damn galaxy. Vivian joined them, resting her head on her father's shoulder. Welcome to the family, little brother. And in that moment, surrounded by the people who chose to love him, the Emperor's unwanted son finally understood what it meant to be truly royal, not through blood or power, but through the fierce, unconditional love of those who refused to let him die alone in the dark.